Fraser, thank you so much for joining us today.
Um, Thank you for asking me to be a part of this
I
today.
can't wait to talk to you. What number gig are you on now then?
1,190 or 91?
Incredible.
It's 90 or 91, not 90.
Did you start counting right from the beginning, or I was wondering the other day, or did you get to like gig 30 and like I want to start counting? They had to go and work
Yeah,
out
it was.
which ones
Yeah,
you're
it was
done.
that. I didn't like count one, two. I got to like it was literally about 30, 40 in, and I was like, well, I haven't done too many. I can remember the ones I've done, so I was like, I think it's cool to start counting them.
Did you ever think you'd get to 1,000 gigs?
No, no, not at all. Like it's so bananas that I've like smashed through 1,000. And someone turned around to me, they're like, "Oh, it's not as cool now, though, is it? Like 1,020?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think that's still pretty sick."
It'll be 2,000 soon. Yeah.
This is the thing. I'm not because they kind of would try to say like, "Is there any point in still counting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because what if I get to 2,000?"
Yeah. I mean,
Which
you
I'm
you
getting
do
there.
like you do like every gig though, don't you? That's what I really like about you is you do like the gigs to 10 people and also the gigs to like 10,000.
Yeah.
But what have been some of the best gigs that you've done, do you think?
Um, I've had best gigs for different like definitive reasons. So like, for example, like one of my best gigs would be playing Latitude. I absolutely adored that.
Yeah.
That was an insane experience. And then one of my other best gigs, do you know what? Easily up there. The first time I played the Sweffin White
Do
Horse.
you think? What an honour.
Easily,
Yeah.
easily, because it was like a room of 20 people, 30 people, and it just the atmosphere was lovely, and people were
Yeah.
laughing, we were crying, we were connecting. So like, and they're two opposite ends of the spectrum. I've got this
Well, exactly,
crazy
yeah.
mainstream gig in Suffolk. Is it Suffolk or Norfolk? I always get latitude where the location.
That's Suffolk. Yeah.
It's Suffolk, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of
Yeah.
course it is. My geography is just like really
Well,
bad.
no, honestly, mine. I did A-level geography. I can't remember things, so it's
Did
fine.
you? No, I'd absolutely. Oh no, I'd ruin that. I wouldn't do very well at that. But yeah, so they're like some. But then I remember some of the some of the most important gigs I've played have been some of the worst gigs. Like
Oh, really?
yeah, like playing to no one. And or like especially when was starting out, like getting my travel covered and the travel taking like 2 hours each way, and I'm playing to like four people.
Yeah.
Because those experiences make you focus on what's important. Like in those moments, you get more from those moments than you do playing the big. Oh no, I don't know. You can get a lot from both of those experiences, but just
Yeah.
different things. But for me, playing those gigs where I travel all that way out and no one would be there, and it was hard. It's in that moment, it's sink or swim, and you either have to quit what you're doing or change your perspective.
Yeah.
Because
And
yeah, if you're
you've obviously changed your perspective.
yeah, well, I've definitely not quit. I've actually doubled
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And it was right. Why am I doing music? I'm doing it because I like it. Right, then keep doing it.
Yeah. Simple.
That
Yeah.
is it. And like,
Yeah.
it's funny because like I've had people in the past say to me like, oh, you shouldn't gig as much, or you shouldn't play as you know, you should dial it down and get people to miss you. And I'm like, no, like I enjoy playing. I don't
Yeah.
play music so that I can turn every gig into this big party or this big insane experience or this big sold out thing. Like for me, I think music should be accessible to all those who want to access it, you know.
Yeah.
And I talk about mental health a lot in my songs, in my sets, and you know, I've heard from others that some of my music has helped some people. So in my head, why would I not play a gig if it means potentially not helping one person? And I'm not saying I definitely will, but like if other people told me that a song of mine has helped them, I like helping people and I want people to be okay. And so I'm not going to not gig. You know, I won't do like really. I won't travel 7 hours to play to one person and lose a
Yeah.
grand. You know, but
Yeah.
if I'm free and I can make it work, I will, because I just love playing and
Yeah.
connecting with people. And what I found as well, Tom, is I'm a nobody. And so when I go to somewhere, there is basically a 100% chance that I'm going to play to new people. Whereas other people are like, oh, you shouldn't play as much. That just reduces the amount of people that I'm reaching and connecting. And for all I know, some of the hardest gigs I've done have turned out to be they've had really good reason. I've connected with someone, had a great conversation with someone, or I've gotten another gig that's come off the back of that. And so I play gigs to connect to people, and there's a chance that I might get more gigs from it, and I might get, if I play to a room of 20 people and one person really connects, if I do that 500 times,
Yeah.
that's instantly 500 people that are connecting with the music, and that it slowly
And it
starts to build.
spreads. Yeah. And also your music works really well, whether it's completely unplugged to like 5 people or to a 10,000 people at a fireworks night, for instance, like you recently did. It works for both, doesn't it?
I I think so. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I've not really thought about it too much, but I think I've always actively tried to make myself as fully kind of musically flexible as possible, and I think that's why I picked up the guitar, is because it's so portable and so easy
Yeah.
just to go to and from places. And so with me, that was an intentional thing. Actually, thinking about it, I remember wanting to be able to, I didn't want to box myself in or pigeonhole myself. Like, I wanted to be able to do the crazy big stuff and the small intimate stuff, whereas if I've got like a big classical band, it's harder to do the places like the Swerving White Horse.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, and you do
whereas
all of this, you do it all yourself, don't you? You don't have a
yeah,
manager, don't have a social
literally
media manager.
everything is me. I don't have a manager. I've never had a manager. I've never had a label. I had a booking agent for like a few weeks, maybe a month or two. I don't know. Didn't really go like how I would have liked to have gone.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep doing it. And I've had a couple of people reach out and talk about working together around the booking agent stuff. But for the moment, I'm just really enjoying the process.
Yeah,
And
sure.
when I had a booking agent for those couple of weeks or whatever it was, I missed talking to people, and like I didn't like the feeling of just rocking up to a venue and not knowing who I was there to see and having
Yeah.
these connections with them and stuff. So I missed a lot, and I like the admin and I like working hard.
Yeah.
So to me,
Perfect
it's
mix. I
yeah,
suppose a booking agent would kind of advise against doing those smaller gigs, wouldn't they? They'd be like,
they
no,
would.
they'll try and get you to only do the larger gigs.
Yeah, and yeah, they would try and sway me on things, and so I'm not in music to make money.
Yeah.
I'm just here to have a good time, connect to
Yeah.
people. So, there is a chance that they would be like, oh, maybe don't do that. And it's not about the money. They can take their, whatever it's 15, 20%, whatever booking agents take, 17 and a half or something. Like, I'm not really bothered about that. I just want to connect to people and have a lovely time. And if I got a booking agent, it would only be if I got any of this type of help, it would be on my terms, and I wouldn't change what I do
Yeah,
too
sure.
much. I'd like to
Sure.
hope for these reasons, because I'm
Yeah.
enjoying the process.
What are some of the hardest bits about taking the independent sort of DIY approach?
I think I just want to play more and
Yeah.
more and bigger, but I'm also happy to play smaller. So I guess for me, it's the speed in which I go from 10 to the 100 cap gigs to the 1,000 to the 5,000.
Yeah.
It's a slower process.
Plus sending out all your merch and replying to all the emails.
Oh, right, okay,
recording
yeah.
and-
I really struggle with merch. Actually, that's a good point. I really struggle with merch.
What, was sending it out and getting it in, or?
Getting in is fine. It's like because of my neurodiversity. When I have something that I know I need to do, my body just wants to not do it, even though I want to do it, and
That's
so I'm having to
very
fight this. Like,
relatable.
yeah, like I'm having to fight this urge just to sit down, and I'm like, we've got things to do today, buddy. Like, come on, like it just. But I want to do it,
Parcels to
and
send. Yeah.
but for me, yeah, posting packaging the merch is the hardest part, because I don't have tell you why. Because I know the reason why I put it off is because I don't have a label printer. so I handwrite everything, and I hate writing, and my hand hurts. So that's the only reason why I don't like doing merch, because I handwrite. I need to get laser printer basically, and then I'll be
Yeah.
fine. But everything else I love. I love the admin. I've
Yeah.
got spreadsheets. I do my own. Yeah, spreadsheets of taxes and stuff. Like, I really enjoy it all, and
All the
I'm just
business
really
side.
lucky
Yeah. Yeah.
with my brain is that I love doing the creating process as well as all the boring admin-y side of
Yeah.
stuff. But I guess those challenges are literally it's just a slower process. I'm happy with though.
Yeah.
I'm not against booking agents, not against labels, not against managers, but right now I'm just really enjoying. And if someone wanted to talk to me, have a conversation about it, so listen. I'm not a goose. No, I'm not a silly goose. But it would have to be on my terms because
Your terms. Yeah. Well,
I'm
the approach
enjoying.
you're taking is work. You're connecting with so many people, so it's working.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
And that means a lot, and that's reassuring to hear because I get so into it and enjoying it and things that sometimes I forget that I'm like, oh, are other people liking this too? Because I'm loving it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if other
No,
people
they
are.
definitely
That's
are. They
kind
definitely
of like my sex life. I'm having a great time. I don't know if you are though, but I am. I'm
I'm
sorry
sure
if
they
you
are.
didn't. I'm sure they're not.
No, it's working. It's working. Oh, and by the way, my girlfriend is very much enjoying her crying towel.
Thank you very much.
Best bit of merch I've ever bought.
My cry, yeah, my I don't know how to explain it to people who don't know what I'm on about, but I've got basically designed some not t-shirts, some tea towels that say this is my crying towel on. And my partner was like, don't make those, that's a stupid idea. Like, because I've made a lot of stupid merch before and not many people have bought it. And she's like, you're doing it again. Like, just don't. And I was like, okay. And then I made 100. But then they
As you
sold
do.
out.
Yeah.
They sold out.
That's a great idea.
Which is mad. And I bought more. And they sold out again. So it's been my best selling piece of merch. It's
No,
so
it's
funny.
great. She's
But I'm
loving it.
hoping she doesn't have to use it.
I don't know if it's actually been properly used yet. Tell us a bit about how you actually got into music. Like, what was early Fraser Morgan like at school? When do you start playing guitar and writing lyrics?
Wow, great questions. Okay, so if we go on a complete timeline,
Let's do it.
I'm like, I don't know how old I am. I remember writing poems at school. I always loved poetry and like rhyming and things like that. That was always fun. When I was in year 6, for some reason, I'd signed up to the school, like, not play, it was like school performance evening, and I went and sang. And Mum got a letter home being like, Fraser's in this. And she was like, what? Why have you done that? Type of thing. And I was like, I don't know. I'm 9 or 10. Like, I don't know. I've just done it. And I did it. And that was fun. And then I think I did another one in year 6 as well. And then got to secondary school. And I was like in and out of plays and performances. And I did like the odd singing set and stuff. And I remember liking performing at school. And then... But still, I was rhyming maybe. I wasn't even writing that much at that point. And then when I was about 14, 15, it was actually because I don't consider myself a musician at all. Like I'm really
Stupidest
not.
statement I've ever heard.
I'm honestly not. I don't like. I'm not a musician. I'm not a music musician. Like there are some people who are like music mad and
I
like
want
know
like
their
scales and like all of that and
yeah, like they know their shit or like
jazz,
they know them.
harmonic minor, all of that. Yeah.
All that crazy stuff to me is just like a different language. Like some people like know their music history, and
Okay, I get you. Yeah.
I do not. Oh, I'm just I'm just passionate about connecting with people and helping and stuff. And so I used to listen to my mum's music growing up, and it was just the charts all through my teenage years. I just listened to the charts, and then I heard Ed Sheeran, and I was like, well, this guy sounds like he's just doing what I like to do. Like I just write rhymes about my life, and that feels accessible to me. And so let's move the camera. And so then I got a guitar for my 14th, 15th birthday from a friend at the time. And I taught myself out of a library book. And then I'd play like the odd gig and that in Braintree, where I'm from. And then in sixth form, after I played a gig one night, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a musician. I was studying to be a banker. I was like, I want to be a musician. Yeah. So I signed up another college to become a musician, and it kind of just it kept going from there really, and I didn't really look back. It wasn't an intentional like as such. I didn't realize. I didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah,
It was kind of unexpected. Think I think what put me in music isn't music; it's people. The
sure.
connecting with people, and as I got older, like playing more gigs, like making people laugh and smile. I think my love for performing put me in music, but my love for connection and people kept me in music. And
Yeah,
like when I was then like 18, 19, I actually wanted to become a psychotherapist. I wanted to become a therapist. Um, but once I'd been to university, I just studied songwriting in London just to get out of Essex for a bit and just use student loan just to put off having to get a full-time job. Literally, like I didn't get anything out of my songwriting degree at all,
really.
other than just connecting with people and living in London for a couple of years, which was great and it was fun.
Yeah,
Um, and then yeah, then I wanted to become a psychotherapist, and but then I'd finished my degree. I was like, I then remembered actually I don't like studying, so I can't become a psychotherapist. But so my music is just I'm just trying to. I think that's my way of trying to help people without
yeah,
being an official therapist. Is me going to loads of therapy, and then playing a gig and having really honest, meaningful conversations and connections with people there. I think that's scratching that therapist itch that I
yeah.
have.
No,
You know.
sure. Well, let's talk a bit more about the music college. So you went, but you didn't. It didn't help you at all because you'd think they'd really work on your songwriting, but did they actually try and like box you in, and you just wanted to write whatever you wanted?
Went to one university for 1 year. That was BIM in London, in Fulham,
All right.
and I didn't connect as much with the people around me. And on reflection, it was probably a part of that was probably my own mental health and my own personality and mentality at the time, because I still had a lot of things to work through and process. But I think a portion of that as well was a lot. No one was really doing the type of music that I wanted to do, and no one had the kind of the get the drive for gigging like I did. Like when I
Yeah.
first moved to London, I went on to Open Mic Finder and printed off every open mic in London, and I made it my mission to play every open mic, and I made a big dent in it.
Yeah.
Like I did quite well. I printed them all off and stuck them on my bedroom wall, and I would tick them off as I do them, or I'd cross them off they'd been
Awesome.
cancelled.
Yeah.
And I did loads. And whereas everyone else, they were more like studio musicians. They wanted to like spend more time on recording, or like a lot of them into like neo soul and like lots of different genres to
Yeah.
me. And I'd have struggled to connect with the people around me. I loved all that music and the people were sound, but I didn't kind of find my place there. And then when I was working in the pub in Chelsea, I was wearing an Eminem shirt, and this lady come up to me. She was like, "Sick shirt," and I was like, "Thank you very much." And she must have been like in the 50s, 60s. I'm like, "This is a cool lady."
Yeah.
And then we were talking about music. She's like, "I actually work for a university in London that does music," and I was like, "Oh yeah, what's that?" She's like, "ACM." And in my head, I was like, "Well, she's pretty sound," and she invited me in for an interview. And then I basically carried on my free songwriting course, but at another university, at ACM in Clapham, and I didn't, yeah, I didn't learn too. It's hard with songwriting because it's so subjective.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
It's
It's quite
hard.
hard to be taught. Yeah.
It really, really is. I think I'd love to go back and do it now,
Yeah.
with after who I am now, and all the work that I've done in therapy and on myself, with my current mentality. I think I'd love to relive those years and
Yeah.
go back and do it again. Um, but then also it might still be just as it was, and actually,
Yeah.
I can't. I I don't know whether it's just the fact that I was seeing my life at the time through a kind of a kind of troubled-ish 21-year-old lens, or if actually just there wasn't much for me to get out of the course.
Yeah.
But
Well, I suppose most of the greatest songwriters ever, they haven't gone to study songwriting at college. Think of Paul McCartney and one, or they've just learned on the job, haven't they?
this is it. And I think for me, where I had I had no other like no musical people to look up to in my family. I'm not from a musical background. I don't really know too much about music. Like, I've got a blank slate to work with.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not trying to become any. I'm not trying to become my parents, or I'm not trying to become any musicians like around me, or that musicians that my parents would listen to when I was growing up. It was I got to a certain age and I had a complete blank slate, and I knew that I just wanted to tell my truth and talk about my life. And so I didn't have too many like pre I think the word is predisposition, but pre-existing kind of templates to work with. I was like, I can just do whatever I want. I can fully play with it as I want. So
yeah,
that was kind of the fun, exciting thing for me is I'm coming to it completely fresh faced, not knowing what I'm doing. And I think initially that was quite prohibiting, and there were some barriers in place, but at the same time it's quite freeing for me because I can create whatever I want and make it sound however I want, and I'm not
yeah.
trying to
No,
be or
sure.
sound like anyone
Yeah.
else or anything, you know?
No, really interesting. The printing off all the open mics on the wall approach. It's quite sort of Ed Sheeran. Has he like impacted your approach as well as your sound? Because he was just like, you got to play as much as possible at every gig that'll take you.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, Tom. Yeah, growing up, I didn't really have too many positive people in my life to look up to all times. And I remember I would sit down and watch his interviews and it would feel good and stuff. And I took a lot from him and his work ethic. Like I was a massive Ed Sheeran fan, predominantly of his work ethic and his outlook. And I was like, fair play, like I love that. And like that live aspect. Um I really, really like that. And so yeah, I just knew that I wanted to gig as much as I can and learn as much as I can. And so yeah,
Yeah.
that came from him. And then I really started to find my love for performing, like kind of as I got older, even more so, and started to really hone my craft and play more gigs and play and play with the concept of a live show and to break the kind of the rules of a live show and stuff. Yeah, kind of make it what I want and just kind of
How do you mean break the rules? Just go absolutely crazy.
well, it's yeah, when because when I play, I I kind of forget I'm there to play sometimes. Like I'm my goal is just to go into a room and connect to people and have a laugh and smile and as I said, have some important conversations and to be vulnerable and open about my experiences and how I want other people to be okay. And so when I'm playing songs and that, I'm just messing around
Yeah.
the whole time. Like I'm stopping in between songs, I'm chatting shit, or I'm getting distracted by this, or and then like I'm talking to like random people in the crowd about random stuff. Like, what did you do today? And like it's I've no from going to more gigs, especially recently, I've noticed that I'm just a bit chaotic compared to a lot of other people.
No,
It's
it's.
very
I mean,
different.
your energy on stage is great. I wanted to ask you this actually. Like, were you like that from the very start? Your first performance, were you nervous? Were you confident? Were you running around stage, taking your shirt off, all of that stuff, or did you develop that as you did more and more gigs?
Yeah, that the latter. It was when
Okay.
I first started out, I just wanted to be Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
And do all that stuff. And then as I got older, and started to play more and get more confident, I started to play with the concept of the live shows and stuff. And then I just started to step into the chaos and the spontaneity and the unpredictability of it all. And when I get onto that stage, I'm still the same person, but I'm the version of myself that I can't be in a social dynamic.
Yeah.
Like me on stage would not work in a conversation
That's what I was gonna say. Are you
because
quite like introverted off stage? Would you say?
yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
I do like I love people and I definitely have extroverted qualities. I think I struggle with small talk.
Yeah.
Um and like I can sit down and talk to someone about philosophy and the meaning of life for 7 hours, but I can't. I'm not very good at having small talk and things, and sometimes um, I, I think for me it's important to rest and stuff around like in social dynamics, but at the same time, the person on stage is just me. It's me, but with the added layer of entertainer. So
Yeah.
like, I like to think that the person that you see in this dynamic, I'm the same person I am with my mum, with my peers, with my partner, people at a gig. Like it's still me, just on stage. I'm not expected to maintain a well-rounded, put-together conversation. Entertainment. When you go to the cinema, you're not part of the conversation. You're watching this thing, you're taking it in, but the actors aren't talking to you. And so when the same as when you go to a gig, they will talk to you, but like you're not expected to have like a one-to-one conversation type of thing. So when I'm on stage, I can play with it a bit more and fluff it up a bit more and have a laugh with it a bit more,
Yeah.
um, because I don't. It's not a term-based
Yeah.
conversation. But when you see me in person, like we'll still chat
Yeah.
and stuff. But I do have introverted tendencies, but they're not in a way that makes me unsocial.
Yeah.
They
Sure.
just
Oh, I remember
I
you're saying. Sorry to interrupt you, but you're saying you're doing a great performance at Sweffling, but you're like, oh, this is way past my bedtime. You should go to bed at about 8 p.m. Which I thought was a funny mix.
honest to God, if I can be in bed by like 9 at the
Yeah.
latest, that's perfect.
Life is
Like
good.
I've done my days of getting smashed
Rocking and
and
rolling.
late
Yeah.
nights and all of that. And like, I never thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I was just doing it at the time because it was new and it was fun. And I got to a certain point where I was like, this is actually boring. This is actually really lame. Like, I'm having the same conversations every weekend, or like, I'm exhausting myself. I'm waking up tired, hungover. I feel like, can I swear? Sorry, can
Yeah.
I?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Someone's waking up feeling like shit. Um, and I was like, it's not that cool, actually. Like, for me, it's way cooler to have an amazing gig and put on a great night and put on a really fun show and then go back to my van, or if I'm staying at home that weekend, it's back to my bed and lay down, play my Switch for a bit, get an early night and
Read a book. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
excited for the morning,
No.
you know? Because I don't know, I'm beyond the whole party life thing. Like I still have an odd drink here and there and stuff, but I'm just bored of it. Um, the difficult thing sometimes about being a musician is the fact that people want to ply you with alcohol and God knows what else, and you end up just having like the same conversations with people. And then also, if I'm going out and getting smashed after a gig, like I don't particularly enjoy talking about myself.
Yeah.
And um, if you're going out and getting drunk with like other musicians, like some of them really love to talk about themselves, and and with me, I like to have really fun, meaningful conversations. Like, hey mate, how's your mum doing? Like,
Yeah.
how's things in your family?
Yeah.
Like, what have you been up to this week? And sometimes I really struggle. I think what I can struggle with the most sometimes with music is um the conversation around music, especially with other musicians. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel like they have something to prove, or like they see it as a competition, and want to talk about all these great things they're doing, or like the stats around things. Whereas I'm just like, I just want to see how you've been. How's your week been? Like, I don't I'm not in music for the validation. I'm sure it probably validates a part of myself that felt invalidated growing up, but I've done the work, and so from music. I don't get like the ego side of
Yeah.
things, and I don't get like the crazy validation. And a lot of people get into music. I think the reason why we're creative sometimes is because we have that kind of pool of pain or suffering that we tap into, that we use to create. And sometimes, um, the difficult thing of being a musician is when you're around other musicians, is some of them haven't done the work, and and are still, they use it for the party life, and so they
Yeah.
get on the stage and they become this person that they want to be, and they're running away from certain things. And so with me, after a while, I kind of got bored of the party side of stuff, and I didn't care about talking about myself, and so I just love to show up and play a show and connect with these people. And if anyone wants to be nice and have a genuine conversation, like, I'd love to. Um, that's a lot of time they are lovely, but I think what I'm trying to say is, yeah, when it comes to the late night side of stuff, I don't get a thrill from it anymore.
Yeah.
Of doing the same thing all the time, and just seeing how late we could push things, and trying to get my happiness from this place. Actually, I get my satisfaction and happiness from playing as best as I can, connecting with people, and trying to help people if I can. Get an early night, wake up, and seeing what the next day brings.
Yeah.
It's
Well, no,
that's so.
very, very wise
Well,
indeed.
the thing, it's funny though, Tom, because I remember as I was getting older and doing music more and more, I remember making an active, a conscious decision that I need to work on and work through my shit now, as early as I can,
Yeah.
because if I do get to a point where the gigs grow, I don't want music to be a plaster over the things I'm going through. And the thing is, the music is, it will just amplify any kind of negative habits or tendencies that I think you can have. And so for me, I was like, I want to work on my shit now. I want to work on my hurt. I don't want music to be a big validator for me and an ego thing for me. I don't want to end up forming a drug habit or an alcohol addiction or anything like that, because I used music as a plaster, and then the drugs and alcohol as an escape. Like, I took note of other celebrity stories, and I was like, right, okay, I want to work on my shit now, because I don't want to be that guy when I'm older who's still getting smashed at, like, until late hours in the morning, and treating every night like it's a party, and having embarrassing pictures and videos of myself, like, I don't know, chat shit, or just making a fool of myself, or saying things I don't mean to people. Like, I don't want to be that as an adult. Like, and for the most part, I think I was fine with that growing up, but I took note of what was around me, and I was like, I want to work on my shit now, so that if anything does happen, I've got, I'm more or less, well-rounded. I've done the work, and I've got the tools that I need to help me get through any difficult situations. And I just didn't want to, I didn't want to make a dick of myself or be a
Yeah.
dickhead to anyone else.
No, it makes sense.
Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to be in music to have fun, to celebrate life, and to connect to people and help others. And so, yeah, I actively kind of worked on those things quite early on
Yeah.
in my life. I've been going to therapy since 7, 8 years now, on and off. And that was one of the reasons, was if anything happens, I know how intense things can get for people. I want to start working on better habits now. I want to start implementing, being nicer to myself, acknowledging burnout, resting, no big late nights all the time. Like, just wanted to live a more authentic and healthier and happier life.
Yeah.
And
I think it's overly romanticized, that life, isn't it? In reality,
heavily,
it's just
it's it's
miserable
so
next
dangerously
days. Yeah.
romanticized,
Yeah.
and I've seen it firsthand. And still, currently, there are people that I know who are just still treating it like a party, and I just feel sorry for their bodies, but also, like, their own mental health and mindset. Because for me,
Yeah.
it ended up becoming damaging for my mental health to treat every gig like a party and like a big event and this big validating thing. Or not that I ever, I was, yeah, it never was much validation for me, music, actually. I just really, for the most part, it was that I just really enjoyed it. But I see there are some people now who still do it like that, and I'm like, yeah, you must be shattered, and like it must be so hard to be in your brain and body to still be doing that every weekend or every. And this, I'm not judging them. It's just like I've been there and I know what that's like, and I know what was going on in my head at the time,
Yeah.
and so you know, no one of a good positive mental health mindset wants to party all the time every weekend. You know,
Yeah.
I think for me, I've learned to slow down, enjoy the quiet bits, enjoy the boring, slow bits.
It's where the
Like,
happiness is found, I suppose. Yeah.
honest to God, the true genuine happiness is found in the boring, slow, quiet
Yeah.
bits that no one talks about. Like, it is very massively romanticized, this rock and roll life of going on tour and getting smashed and uh, girls and people and attention. It's
Yeah.
like I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty lame in
Yeah.
a way. Like
It's weird how people you set that goal for yourself. I want that life, and you get there, and it's not as good as it seems. Like,
honestly, and it's I think yeah, it's just something that I've found now for me. It's just a thing of the past. Like I'm happy to just live life in a slow lane.
yeah,
Like I've done my time in fast lane, and you know I've got like a good small little group of circle of friends, and I love playing a great gig, connect to people, picking up friends here along the way, but just putting a great show and taking it easy and just I'm not here to be a rock and roll star.
yeah,
I'm not I'm not cool enough to be a rock and roll star. Like I haven't got it in me. But to me, I think what's really rock and roll is going to therapy, working on your shit, befriending your demons,
yeah,
and being nice to yourself and those around you. I think that's more rock and roll because that's harder to do.
yeah.
It's too
Yeah, no,
easy to get
definitely.
smashed. At a gig, people ply me full of alcohol. I went and played
Well,
a
yeah.
Whitby
I imagine you
recently.
must get loads of people offering you free drinks, and
All the time, because that's their way of wanting to show you their appreciation. Like I remember at a gig, someone was like, "Oh, let me get you a drink." I was like, "I'm all right, I'm just having this one." They're like, "Please," like I'm like, honestly, man, like I really appreciate what you tried. But I don't want another drink. I went and played a Whitby Brewery, and they were like, "Take some beers." I was like, "I'm fine." They're like, "Take a box of beers," and I'm like, "Okay." And I've still got 10 of the 12 stouts that they gave me in my cupboard a few months ago because I had one with my friend. Like,
yeah,
and so, yeah, to me, I think it's more rock and roll to work on your shit because drinking and doing drugs is too easy.
yeah. I think drinking's hard for being a musician because you're always around it, aren't you? Like you said, everyone's
Always
always
around it. And
offering it, and it's so like associated with
yeah,
alcohol,
and it's
music.
expected of you. But
Yeah,
I just got tired of like waking up and not remembering the gig or like the anxiety was becoming
yeah,
borderline traumatic for me. And I had this big shift in my brain in June where I was like, I'm going to stop doing the things that bring me suffering, which on paper is
sounds
really
easy, but that is like just saying that. It really, I imagine you really have to look at what you're doing and analyze yourself, and yeah, unbelievably
there's a
difficult.
lot of things that I ended up cutting out of my life, like the anxiety. If I had a great gig on a Saturday night, but I drank, the whole of the Sunday's written off. I'm spending
Yeah,
the whole of that day anxious, spiraling, not feeling happy, wanting to cry, freaking out. And I was like, that's no way to live my life.
yeah,
What am I doing? And like
no,
even
really
smoking
interesting. Yeah,
would give me smoking cigarettes would like give me stomach acid or creates a degree of panic in me because it's a stimulant. And I think I'm already quite stimulated as a person anyway.
yeah,
Like I've got this quite deep love for life. And so I stopped smoking. And then when I was going away so much, when I'd eat certain foods or like not eat very well, that gave me stomach acid
yeah.
too, which made me anxious. Like, well, let's stop doing that then. And I just, it's so obvious now.
No, yeah, it's so obvious, but I wonder how many people actually ask themselves that
And
at any
it's
point in their
hard.
life.
And don't get me wrong, it's fucking difficult. And
Yeah,
for
of
me, I
course.
took this medication that stopped me smoking, and because I wanted to, because for me, it was more of an ADHD thing of like pulling the lever on the slot machine, going, "Oh, will this cigarette make me feel good?" type of thing. And I did
Yeah,
that for a while. But also, here's the thing: the great thing about therapy is I also realised that I was using smoking as a way to take a social breather from a situation.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
if I was finding myself getting quite overstimulated or I needed a second by myself, oh,
You'd
just
go
go
and
out for a
go and have a
cigarette.
smoke. Yeah.
I didn't even want it. I just wanted to sit on the wall and just look at the sky for 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
I was using that as an excuse sometimes to go and do that. So for therapy, I turned the mirror on myself and I was like, huh. And then once I stopped having a cigarette to rely on to go out, once I quit smoking, I was like, I'm burning myself out.
Yeah.
Why am I burning myself out? Because I'm not having conversations that I want to be a part of. Sometimes I would have a conversation with people for the sake of it, or sometimes I would say things because I was trying to people please, and so I just started cutting out loads of things out of my life that either I didn't believe in, didn't run congruently with who I was, or were bringing me more harm than help.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to live a life that is honest, and that
Yeah.
I don't want to look back on any conversations or decisions that I made and gone, why did I do that? Oh, I did that because I was trying to please someone, or like, or because of like I am only doing and saying things now that I mean,
Yeah.
and that feels nicer. But then these conversations came when I started to quit the other things that didn't help me, and these things started to domino, and so yeah, I'm very I'm not the rock and roll poster boy. I'm very opposite. Like
Yeah.
I've gone to loads of therapy. I'm still am, but I've worked on my shit. And I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. I'm not relying on any external source for my happiness. I'm having hard conversations with myself and turning the mirror on myself.
Yeah.
The rock and roll stuff,
No,
I
it's really.
don't,
I mean, that obviously that lifestyle is really associated with music. But has your creativity improved as a result? A lot of people think, "Oh, you're not out there getting your heart broken and drinking. Surely there's nothing to write about." But have you seen that your creativity has actually improved and like
it's quite,
clarity
it's
and
fantastic question, Tom. I like that. And it's funny because I've had this conversation with myself over the past, I don't know, 6 to 12 months maybe, is that as I'm working through my things, I'm now, you know, in a way having less to write about, but through working through my things and going to therapy and becoming the person that I would like to become, and I think becoming the person that the child in me deserves to become, um, I'm therefore, my songwriting is changing. The things that I'm writing about are changing, and the even, and I don't think that's a bad thing
yeah,
because now I'm writing really. Instead, before it was a bit more maybe it could have been a bit more woe is me and the victim, or why is my life like this? Now I'm going through things, but I'm able to honestly write about them.
yeah,
Like I've got a song called Paralysis. And if I didn't go to therapy, I don't think I would have written that song. And it's a song that I love that I'll be releasing at some point in 2026. And that song's about being neurodivergent. It's about burnout. It's about having to work in a 9 to 5 environment, which I'm not suited for. And it's about, yeah, yeah, they're what it's about. I was going to say ADHD, but that's part of neurodiversity.
yeah,
And, but I wouldn't be able to write that song without having the conversations that I've had in therapy and the tools that I have, because through therapy has helped me become self-aware, and through becoming self-aware, I can have a conversation. In the song, it's like for a long time in my life, I didn't realize that I'd suffer with this paralysis, where I would just come home, I'd lay down and look at the ceiling or the wall and just cry because I didn't know what's going on with me. But through
yeah,
therapy, I've learned that that's burnout, and that it's part of my neurodiversity. And through that self-awareness, I can now write about it. And the lyric is, I don't know if I can hack all this. I'm stuck in a paralysis. I'm trying to calculate what to do. I'm looking for some dopamine and any way to cope. You see, I hope I can get out of this soon. I wouldn't be able to write that song without going to therapy. And so, yes, the the personality of which my songwriting once was has changed, but I think that's a great thing, and I'm happy it has, because now I'm really able to step in. I'm no longer writing songs as a hurt musician as much. I am now going through something, coming out of it with lessons, and that when I inevitably, because my anxiety's not going to go. It's there to stay with me, and I'm fine with it. I'm learning to befriend it. But when I come out of it, wherever I'm going through that time, once I come out of it that first time, I learn a lot about it, and I become an audience member to my actions, to my thoughts, to my feelings. I take as much away from that experience as I can, so I can learn. So when I find myself in a situation again, I can come out of it quicker. But then also, when I'm in that situation again, I know what it is, and then I can write about it with the tools and the self-awareness. And now I'm no longer writing as a musician. I'm now becoming the therapist that I wanted to be.
Yeah. No, I've got an interesting question for you because this isn't exactly music related, but you mentioned befriending the anxiety. Is it more important to actually accept than to try and push away if you have something like that?
100%. 100%. Like, I don't know if you've ever had an argument with a toddler before. You don't win. The toddler's always right. And the toddler will scream louder at you. And they will kick up a fuss in that aisle. For me, my mental health is the same. If I argue with it, it will argue back at me louder. And I won't win. And I was actually talking to my partner about this, that I feel like that my relationship with them has gigantically shaped the way that I write and perform, because there are things that I would struggle with that I built up guilt and shame about that they welcomed with open arms and love, compassion and patience. And so once they did that, these problems that I thought I had got a lot quieter, because if you feel guilty or shameful about your thoughts or your feelings, and someone says, it's okay, I love you, and those things about you, that shame and guilt or anxiety, whatever it is, hasn't got anyone to argue with. Have you ever tried to have an argument with someone who isn't interested in having an argument? It's really boring. Like, the same as the bullies at school. If you just like let it water off your back, they get bored.
Yeah.
And it's the same with my mental health. And so I said to them, like, partner, like, you've actually helped me shape my music in a way. And so around my mental health, I've learned that it's really important to accept it for me, because I would push it away for so long, or like I'd see it as this problem or this thing that I needed to fix. And actually, it's not about fixing it. It's about learning from it. So with my anxiety, is learning about what my anxiety is saying to me. And actually, what's the anxiety? Where's the anxiety coming from? And for me, actually, I've come to realize that I don't actually have anxiety. I have OCD. And I'm neurodivergent. And so the end result is anxiety, but the initial thing is an unhelpful or difficult thought process or conversation or things that I'm having with myself that are then, and then my reaction to the thought is creating the anxiety. And so when I say the reaction to the thought, that's me arguing with the toddler.
Okay, yeah.
And so now, if I find myself getting anxious, like this morning, for example, I woke up and my body just felt a bit alert. And I was like, okay. Before I would go like, what does that mean? Let's solve this. Why am I anxious? What? And I let it like derail my day. Whereas now I'm just like, this is where we are. I've woken up in my home. I'm safe. We're just going to ride it out. It's going to be nice.
It's not the thought, it's the reaction to the thought. That's probably quite a key takeaway. Yeah.
Thoughts aren't bad. Thoughts are okay. You can't really have bad thoughts. I mean, you can have thoughts that are like, oh,
it's how you judge them. Yeah.
It's your reaction and response to the thoughts. And for me, that was a lot of my OCD. And sometimes I definitely, when I was younger, like I'd have a thought and go, what does that mean? Oh my God. And I start to, because I'm quite an analytical person, I like to break things down. And my mum has always said that for as long as she can remember of me, that I've always taken things apart, learned how to work and put them back together again. And I started to try to apply this skill to my own mental health. And it can't always work. But for me, it's just, it can work. But sometimes for me, it's learning when to try and break it down. Like, why am I having this thought or feeling? Is it because I saw something online 90 seconds ago that triggered an anxious feeling, but now I can't remember what I saw, and all I have now is the memory of being anxious. Now I'm trying to work out that memory, or is it that I've just woken up and my body's just a bit more alert today, and it's in my body, not my brain. So my brain doesn't need to analyze it because I know that I'm safe. I'm also a human being
Yeah.
full of complex hormones and chemicals, and that they work on autonomously, completely independently from my own control.
Yeah.
And so again, it's learning to work with rather than against, and it's all these little things. So yeah, but around the anxiety, it's just like, for me, it's learning when to ask why I'm feeling anxious and when not to. And so for that this morning, I don't need to ask, but like if I find myself anxious in a day for some reason, it's just like, am I okay? What's going on? Let's check in. And yeah, working with the anxiety and befriending it and welcoming it in, understanding that it's probably trying to help me in
That's a
some
big
way.
switch, actually, if you start to welcome it when it comes to
Because
your mind. Yeah.
honest to God, like, you just welcome it in and don't judge it. Don't get angry at it, because then you just create this big loud thing. Just welcome it in, befriend it, learn from it. It's
Yeah.
trying to talk to you. And for me, my anxiety was just trying to tell me that I've got OCD or that my ADHD is flaring up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, right, what can I implement to help with these things? And now I don't really get anxious anymore. And I think the reason for that, I do, may I add,
Yeah.
but like I don't find myself in these anxious episodes. And like I used to, any perceived rejection, I'd get really anxious about. Like that's part of my ADHD is a thing called RSD, which is rejection sensitivity dysphoria, and so any perceived rejection would make me anxious. Whereas now, I'm like, is this real or is this perceived? Like an example of it is, I've been running some workshops recently for some young people, and they've been lovely. And I was like, oh, like I can sometimes struggle with communication, especially written down. And so because 80% of human communication is non-verbal, at least, and I'm really good at people and working with people out and reading people and taking in the body language and their facial movements and putting together what they're trying to say, but I can really struggle with it on typing. And so with a person who'd got me in for these workshops, I was like, have I annoyed them? Like, are they happy with what I'm doing? And instead of carrying that for the rest of the day, I was like, let's organise a phone call and let's check in and approach this situation as a mature adult. And let's just make sure that everything's okay rather than spending my day freaking out. And so it's learning these things about myself that I'm then implementing better ways to respond and work with these things about myself, so that now the anxiety doesn't really come in. And if it does, I know how to respond to it a lot more of the time. I know what's going on. It's probably a perceived rejection. I haven't slept well. I haven't eaten well. If I have caffeine too early, sometimes that can ruin my day. And then before it was the smoking or the drinking, like it was all these things. And as long as you're willing to learn and grow and become an audience member to your thoughts and feelings and your actions, you can take away a lot of it. Some of
Become
it
an
is
audience
unavoidable,
member. I like that. That's great.
honestly, but it's true.
Good way of thinking about it. Yeah.
Becoming an audience member to your thoughts and feelings is really important, because sometimes, even now, I'll catch myself and I go, why am I doing this? Why am I saying this? Does it run congruently with how I feel? Or like, where's this thought come from? Like, and like checking in,
Yeah.
but not being so deeply involved with it that you start shouting back, and it's just like, that's an interesting thought or feeling. I wonder what has brought that on. Is it a passing thought or feeling? Is it something that I learned or took on mentally growing up as a child? Is that someone else's words that I've taken on as part of my identity from when I was a young boy? And it's working through and navigating all these things. And so
Is it
now,
like building a habit that becoming an audience member? Do you have to like commit for 8 weeks or something? You know, it takes 8 weeks to build a habit, because it's quite hard. It's easy to say,
yeah.
isn't it? Become an audience member, but actually hard to implement.
Well, the way that I explain, like, so, I've had lots of things in my life that I wanted to move through and move past. And a lot of people, when I say to them, like, if you've got something that you want to stop doing, for me, the first step is acknowledging, I would really like if that went away. The second step is carrying on doing it.
Yeah.
Like for me, if it was this anxiousness that I was struggling with and be like, I don't like feeling anxious about this thing. For the next few weeks or months, I'm still going to keep doing it because it's not going to stop overnight. The third step is then every now and then recognizing the opportunity to what's the word, interject, and to break that loop and cycle. And the fourth step is to still carry on doing and being on my bullshit. And so, but it's every now and then you'll start doing it more. So first step is acknowledging. Second step, okay, I'm still gonna keep doing this stupid thing. For me, not everyone's like that, but for me, that's what I'm like. And then every now and then I'll be like, oh, I'm doing that thing. I'm gonna try and do it a different way, or I'm gonna have a conversation with myself. And then once you start doing that, it's like, do you know when you walk through a field, or you might walk around town and you'll see like a pavement, but then to the right you'll see a patch of grass, but it's got like a path that's been walked so many
Yeah.
times, people taking a little shortcut. It's called a desire path. And our brains are no different to these things, like around neuroplasticity and the way that we can change the way that our brains work. And we can do it, and around the whole the thing around the prefrontal cortex stopping forming when you're 25. To my knowledge, if I remember rightly, isn't actually factually true. That's the age that they stopped running the tests on those people for that
Interesting.
all that information. Now, again, to my knowledge, that might be true, but it's something that I need to look into again. But we don't stop learning, because if we did, that'd be such a bad survival technique. It's in our best interest to be always to carry on learning, to have the capacity to carry on learning, and so we can work on ourselves. And I'm a prime example of it. Like, I was never a bad person, I don't think, looking back, but I was a bit of a dickhead to myself and others sometimes. Not intentionally, and never bad. I was just a troubled 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Or I had so many demons and feelings and things that I carried from being younger that I just had to work through. But I've managed to work through them and implement better habits and be nice to myself and have honest and better conversations with myself around these things. And so I think it's definitely achievable. You've just
It's
got to
an
be nice
ongoing
to yourself.
process. Yeah.
It's an ongoing, and you've got to be nice to yourself about it. And you've got to laugh. For me, I laugh at my anxiety, with my anxiety almost, and I laugh about my neurodiversity and the way that my brain thinks and works. I'm like, that's so silly, because I don't think shame and guilt can be quite unhelpful.
Sure.
I think guilt can those things can keep you in check a bit, but prolonged guilt and shame is not very helpful. And so I think you have to install a degree of compassion with yourself and accept the fact that you're a fallible human being, you're going to make mistakes, and that you're
Yeah.
forever learning, and that you should actually strive to become a hypocrite. Because I really hope that I can look back on my 22-year-old self and be like, I don't agree with half the stuff that he said and did, in a way, because that means I've grown and learned things, like, around probably mental health, and my thoughts and philosophy on life has probably changed so much since I was 22.
Yeah.
Because
We'll have to get you on in 10 years' time, and we can test that theory.
honestly, and I know full well that in 10 years' time, I'm going to look back on myself here probably and probably be like, oh, bless him. Like, that's what he thought at the time. How wrong he was. I'm okay. I'm okay with being wrong, because it means learning. And so,
you're growing. Sure.
Becoming an audience member to yourself is just, I think, one of the most important steps.
That's a really, really good way of looking at it. Your mental health message in your music, it's garnered like millions of views online, hasn't it? Why do you think that is? Do you think people are struggling the most that they ever have?
I don't know, because life has always been a bit nuts and crazy. I mean, the struggles that we have nowadays are very different to the struggles that our ancestors would have had. Back then, they were like, I wonder if our town will be invaded today. I wonder if someone's going to come here and just steal all our shit and kill my family.
Yeah.
I don't really have that now. I don't have that as much.
Yeah.
No one's going to come in and set fire to my hut and steal my goats. So problems have shifted, but I just feel like with the internet being so accessible, and people are gathering around the internet more,
new set of problems.
Like, neurodiversity isn't a brand new thing that just happened like a year ago. It's always been there. Like, do you like anything even around like sexual identity and gender and things? Like, did you see the Greeks? Like, dress in bathrobes, drink wine, feed each other grapes, and then shag each other. Like, it's always been around, man. And the same as neurodiversity. Like, Albert Einstein, like, he used to wear the same suit every day. And I don't think that was a genius thing. That was probably a neurodivergent thing. He was like, I like this thing. I will not change it. I will keep it the same. Like,
Yeah,
neurodiversity has always been there. But human suffering has always been there. And so around these things is, I think we just now have a medium of which to channel this.
sure.
And with people saying, "Oh, I'm neurodivergent," or "I suffer with this," now it's more people going, "Oh, I actually subscribe to that." For me, I didn't know I had OCD until I went to therapy, and I was like, "Huh, interesting. I don't have anxiety. I just have OCD and ADHD." And so, I don't think these mental health things are brand new. People have always had them. We just didn't have the terminology or the experience around them. And so, with my song that did really well, "Call Me Mate," that's about men's mental health. It's about my friend who took their life, and I'd written that. I was talking to my partner about this recently, that I realised that that song was written with my therapist hat on. I'd intentionally written that song to help
Yeah,
people. And so when I was talking to my partner about it the other night, I was like, I realised that I wrote that song to help people, and oh my God, it's actually helping people. And I felt this big rush of like joy and satisfaction and happiness, because before I was like, why aren't I connecting with that as much? Like, I feel like a fake or a fraud. And it's because I was coming at it from the wrong angle, because I forgot that I'd written that song to help people. And
sure.
so that's where the
Yeah,
connection is. And so now at the moment, I think it's just one of the videos alone online has done 1.5 million, and another one's done
amazing.
700,000.
Yeah,
And people are listening. I'm getting messages every day from people being like, "Thank you for that song, that clip. Like, I've just called my mum and broken down. I've been holding so much in." Or I've had other people be like, "I was going to take my own life tonight, but I've found this video, and actually I've reached out, and I'm going to start the process of help and stuff." And so the song has worked.
yeah.
That's why I
Achieved its
wrote it,
goal. Yeah,
because I wrote it holding these feelings of grief in one hand, and holding these feelings of grief and loss in one hand, but then holding my experiences with therapy and wanting to become a therapist in another hand, and putting them together to create this song.
yeah,
And I've always said, like, there's no better feeling than finding a song that speaks how you're feeling. And so I've always said that, like, I love that feeling of listening to a song or something, and massaging out that emotion that you've got stuck inside of you, and bringing it to the surface. And I've had a lot of lads come to me at shows, and after a show, like, cry, and then start the process of going to therapy and having conversations with themselves, because they needed it brought out of them. And I needed it brought out of me, which is why I'm able to have this conversation now. Because at some point in my life, it was brought out of me. I'd recognized it and gone, now I can do the work. And so that's what I'm trying to help others with. I'm not trying to go around and make people cry. That's not what I'm trying to do. I want to make that
apart from
clear.
with the crying towel. Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm self-aware, so yeah, he's like, "I've got to make him cry, at least
give them a
capitalize on it."
towel. Yeah,
Yeah, come on. Are you crying? Buy my towel. Like, right, I'm smart, mate. No,
businessman. Yeah,
but it's that's the angle that I come at with like,
yeah. And
yeah,
music
that's
can do that. Yeah,
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 and especially when you're going to a gig and you're not expecting to have your shit emotionally rocked by some guy on stage. Like, a lot of these people who I'm reaching, I know full well would probably be like, "Oh no, like, I don't believe in therapy. Oh, that's all
yeah,
mumbo jumbo and that." But all of a sudden, they're not going to a gig to have honest, like, these conversations. They're going to gig to have a couple of pints and have a bit of an ease up and a laugh.
yeah,
And then some of them are leaving with some knowledge and understanding after a conversation I've had on stage about therapy and about men's mental health. And it's extremely disarming for them because they're not expecting it.
catch them
So
off
therefore
guard.
they're
Yeah,
caught off guard.
yeah,
And so I'm entering these conversations with these people who aren't expecting to have this conversation, and so they haven't got the wall up. Whereas I know if I went to one of these lads in the street, be like, "You thought about therapy?" They'd be like, "Ah, don't be that stupid." Whereas if I'm at a gig and I'm talking about therapy and my experiences with my mental health, my anxiety, and as a man and crying and finding things really hard, they're drinking their pints and going, "Yeah, in there." I know I've seen some of them like not be able to look at me during my certain songs because that's them, and they're trying to hold back tears, or they've ended up crying, and afterwards they've like brought me in for a hug, but like, "Oh, I needed that. Like, that's me. Thank you." And so that's why I like doing it in that setting, because they're not expecting to have that conversation. It catches them off guard, and then they're having the realization, I think, that they always needed or wanted, but maybe weren't always aware of at times.
Yeah, it's amazing what music can do.
Yeah, because you're not expecting to go to a gig and someone
No.
so deeply, like, I mean, like, I'm just very honest about it.
Guy with
And
the
so
guitar, yeah.
you're not expecting, you just want to go up a couple of pints, but instead you've got some dickhead on stage with a shit haircut
Yeah.
talking about the fact that he cries. So,
I like your haircut. Yeah.
very much, yeah. Well, I paid for it, which surprises some people, but
I clearly don't. Look at all this. Anyway,
I like your hair. I absolutely love your hair.
Oh, do you? Okay, that's good. At least one
I
person
do.
likes it. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and it's something you said during a gig. I believe a teacher very early on in your career said that he didn't think music was for you. I just wanted to touch on that before we end. Is that true?
100% true. Yeah, I was still in the early years of learning music. I think I was 16, I was in sixth form. So I'm talking like I'm 1 or 2 years into music at this point, like learning guitar and writing songs. And I was like, I was studying performance studies, which is like a bit more, on reflection, a bit more drama based, a bit more singy, songy, dancey. And oh, that was the postman. He's dropping off my anal beads. No, the sound of that was a thump. That was my massive trap. No, sorry. But basically, I went to the music department and I was like, because you could study at the time, you were able to study your grade 5 guitar, and I really wanted to learn how to properly play guitar and properly play music. And I went to the music office. And I was like, "Hey, insert name here, Fran. I I really want to learn more about music." And she kind of pulled me to one side. No, it wasn't Fran. Was it? Yeah, well, I think it was actually. I know. I remember there being another fella involved, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if music's for you. Maybe just stick to performance studies." And I was like, I left, and I was like, "Fuck you." I'm gonna do it out of spite now. No, but they did. They said to me, "Music's."
Well, the reason I wanted to ask was because, like, how did you react to that? Did you go the fuck you approach, or did that really sort of leave doubt?
A little bit of both. Yeah, it hurt because I was like, why didn't they take a chance on me? Why didn't they offer me? Like, I wanted to learn, and they didn't want to teach me. There might have been a quote thing. Maybe they just didn't want someone failing in their class. Who knows? I walked away and I was like, that kind of made me a bit sad. But with me, I'm very bad at acknowledging boundaries. I've spoken about this before, but I'm very bad at recognizing why something is hard, or why I shouldn't do something, or why I shouldn't try. I've never had that thought. I've never thought this would be hard to do. I've just tried to do it. Like, and with the guitar, like, I wanted to learn and do my grade 5 and learn more about music, and someone denied me of that. And it upset me, but I was like, well, I know that I love doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep on doing it then. I don't have to be good at something to enjoy it.
Yeah. And now, 10, 15 years on, you got a great story out of it. So.
15 years? Thank you very much. I'm not that old,
sorry.
Thomas.
I don't know how long ago it was.
Oh, it was about 12. All right. But still.
Sorry.
But no, I know.
Down next time.
But all this time, but this is the thing, all this time on now, like, here I am. Like, I am living off my music, and I'm doing it in a way that runs congruently with who I am and how I feel. I haven't sold my soul, you know. I I haven't written any songs that I don't believe in. I've done anything that I don't believe in. I've gotten here because I've just wanted to work hard. And I'm okay with working hard. Like, I've worked so much in my life for what I want. I don't know any different. Um, and now I'm free from the kind of neurotypical 9 to 5 dynamic that brought on so many mental health issues for me. Like, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize how bad it was until I'd quit and gone and given music a full-time swing. And I was like, wow, that was ruining my mental health. Like, I didn't realize how much anxiety and depression it was bringing into my life because I'm not built for that habitat. Like, I can't function in it. Like, and it's not because I'm lazy, because I love working hard, but I'm just not very good at subscribing to a kind of neurotypical 9 to 5 dynamic where you're expected to have your lunches at certain times and respond in a certain way and engage in this song and dance and act around. For me, it feels like an act because it's not me, because I'd be acting if
Yeah.
I was doing it. And once I stopped, a couple of months later, I ended up coming. I think I'd gradually come off my anxiety meds anyway, but then once I finished working there, I had no use for them at all. I came off my ADHD meds. I came off everything else. I was taking anxiety meds to cope at work, and then ADHD meds so I could do my work, and then all these other stuff at night time so it can counterbalance all the ADHD meds and the other stuff that I was taking so that I could sleep at night. And it was all these things. And once I quit my job, just everything went quiet. And then I didn't feel the need to get drunk.
Yeah.
I wasn't blowing off steam anymore because I was happy. And so I started to drink far less, and I ended up quitting smoking and all these other things, and all these other great things just fell into place. And you know, I've gotten here just through guesswork. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have anyone secretly in the industry. I don't have any, like, you. If I ever had a Wikipedia page, there's not gonna be any secret blue names like under my relatives or
Yeah.
anything like that. Like, I haven't secretly got this big pot of money.
Yeah.
Like, it's just me.
Yeah.
And I've gotten here by trying and failing thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And again, become an audience member to my thoughts and feelings, having honest conversations, and being okay with getting things wrong and failing and falling flat on my ass. The amount of gigs that I've played where I've travelled hours and no one's been there, and I've lost money and it's been awful, and I thought about quitting music and everything. I actually remembered recently that I was meant to quit music in September. I made a plan September 2024 that I was going to quit music if nothing had changed. And then I remembered last month in October, I was meant to quit last month. I was like, well, I'm happy, so let's
Why
keep
did you
doing
decide
it.
that?
Hey,
Why did you decide to quit? Like, what was? Obviously, you didn't.
because
But what was the thinking?
I was worried that I would make a living off music, and I was worried that I'm losing, because I really love traveling, and I've been putting traveling off for such a long time. I've traveled before, but I was putting it off because of the music. And I was like, I tell you what, as in September 2024, this time next year, and that time I was just talking to a booking agent. I was like, if nothing's changed and I'm not doing too much, I'm just going to quit music and I'm going to save up as much money as I can. I'm just going to go disappear for a year, go do traveling, because I didn't want to build this resentment. But then the stuff with the booking agent didn't go particularly well. And then 6 to 9 months later, I ended up quitting my job, working, like, doing music full time. Mental health has just been on the incline. I've gotten so much happier. And now I'm like, actually, this is lovely. And if I can slowly build towards something and put some money away for traveling one day, that'd be cool. But I'm actually doing a lot of traveling at the moment. I'm
Yeah.
going away every weekend and stuff. So that's getting that itch almost. So, but it was just that fact of, like, I'm worried I'm just treading water. And it felt
Yeah.
like sometimes I was almost
Sure.
emotionally running in water with
Yeah.
music and stuff. But actually, things were going well. They weren't where I wanted them to be, but that's okay, because things take time. And so it had to take its time. I had to
Yeah.
be patient.
Well, I'm
I had
very
to get,
glad you didn't quit.
thank
'Cause
you.
I love what
I'm
you're doing.
very, thank you, Tom. That's really kind of you. And I'm very happy I didn't, because otherwise I'd still be in a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
miserable. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, just to wrap up, tell us what got next. Like, what's next for Fraser Morgan? Any exciting
Uh,
gigs coming up? Any EPs, song releases?
I've got lots of gigs like between now and the end of 2025, and then I'm booking in a lot of cool festivals for 2026 and some gigs there and stuff. I am currently I've got a new lineup for the band, and we are currently rehearsing and recording some a lot of the new songs, and I'm writing a lot.
Can't
Um,
wait.
so I am uh, on paper, I guess you could say I'm working towards my debut album,
Amazing.
which is something that I'm very excited about.
So am
And
I
I've got
now.
so many. Thank you. But no, 'cause the songs are shit. No, but I've got some really fun ideas that I want to do on the with the album, and I don't want it to just be an album. Um,
Okay, that sounds
I
great.
want
We'll have to get you on. Not 10 years time. We'll do it when the album comes out. And you can
when the
tell us
album
about
comes
this idea.
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm hoping by like summer next year.
amazing.
That would be the dream. But yeah, but that's that, and then just gigs, just non-stop gigging. I
Gig,
just
gig,
want to
gig. Yeah,
gig, man, and just keep enjoying the life that I live, and just having honest and meaningful connections, conversations with people, not being a fuckhead, not getting mangled every weekend because I can, playing my Switch and feeding my cat.
amazing.
That and
Good
reading
goals.
Ace
Good goals.
Fables.
Fraser, it's been great to talk to you. Thanks so much for coming
Tom,
on.
and yourself, mate. You're a legend. I really love everything you do. You're so passionate about what you do, and you're so good at what you do. And I hope people tell you that, because you're just a pleasure to be around and work with and communicate with. And it's just, yeah, it's amazing. And I appreciate it massively, and I'm sure many others do if they
Thanks
don't
a
tell
lot,
you.
mate. I really appreciate that.